the PHNX Coyotes podcast, brought to you by the one and only DraftKings Sportsbook, America's top-rated sportsbook app. Download today using code PHNX and place a $1 football bet and get $150 in free bets. It's just that easy. Here we are. It's episode 15 of the PHNX Coyotes podcast. I'm Leah Merrall with Craig Morgan and Steve Peters as always, but today we are joined by a very special guest, our first in-studio guest. We have ASU Hockey head coach Greg Powers with us today. Welcome to the show.
Thanks for having me here, guys. It's awesome to be here and excited to see this new venture take off.
Thank you so much.
How you feeling? We're very close to puck drop for game one. How you feeling about this season?
I feel great. We talked a little bit about this earlier, but people don't know that in college hockey, you are very limited leading into the first game of the season with really what you're allowed to do with your guys on the ice from an NCAA rules standpoint. So it's been 4 hours a week, essentially from the day classes began in mid-August. But the good thing is we have a veteran group, and they know how we want to play and how we need to play to have success. And I think they're ready to just drop the puck and play against somebody other than themselves.
We'll dive into some of those details in a minute, but just big picture here, Greg. Obviously, it's been written a lot. It's been talked about a lot. Last season at Oceanside, the new arena is online. We just saw the last beam put in. A lot of stuff is happening around this program. You and I have talked a lot about building towards something, but does it feel like this season in particular is a springboard to something much bigger?
Yeah, it does, and we need to treat it like it is. Like, we have an opportunity with a really old veteran team that we believe in, and a schedule with 20 home games that we feel like, the expectations internally anyway are higher than they've ever been, and the opportunity to do just that, springboard into a new season in that new arena, the first season in our new arena, and leave Oceanside with a ton of success is a great opportunity, and we're excited for it.
Do you feel like the teams, I guess every coach is going to say this, but do you feel like you're ready to kick this off on Saturday against UMass Lowell?
We really do.
Yeah.
We really do. Today, I just came from practice, and it was an unbelievable practice. It was really good. The energy is really high. Execution and detail were great. And, when you have a veteran team like we have of kids that have been through it, it's in that player leadership is there, and they understand how important every practice is. We feel good about what we're doing on Saturday, absolutely.
When you look at this team, you were able to bring back guys due to the COVID pandemic, and the rules in the NCAA allowed those kids to come back for another year. I think you've got 4 guys coming back, including Johnny Walker, who we'll talk about. Is 4 a large number? Like, if you go look around the NCAA, are teams like University of Minnesota or Michigan, are they bringing back graduate players as well, or is it unique to ASU that you have so many guys coming back?
I think it's different across the board. So there was not only the 5th year for graduate transfers, but there's also, for the first time ever, a one-time transfer rule where it used to be, an underclassman could transfer, but they'd have to sit out a year. Mm-hmm. So in 1 year, kids could transfer wherever they want, anywhere they want, and not sit out. And in the same year, everyone was granted a 5th year of eligibility that played last year. So the transfer portal was crazy, and kids were jumping ship at a lot of places. Most places they did, and they wanted to go experience something new and get a little bit of a new start wherever it may be, whether they were a 5th year guy or not. And I think it says a lot about our program that the 4 kids that came back could have literally gone anywhere they wanted in college. 2 of them had pro offers and American League deals that they turned down to come back because they've helped us build our program. They take a tremendous amount of pride in what they've helped us build. And last year has left a sour taste in our mouth, and they want to go out winning and finish what they started.
And you start this weekend. When does the regular season start?
So it's this weekend.
Oh, that's regular season. Yeah. That's not preseason games.
No, they're not preseason games.
Really?
Yeah, we're getting after it right away. They count Saturday and Sunday at home against UMass Lowell. Saturday at 7:05, Sunday at 4 o'clock, both at Oceanside, and we drop the puck and we go.
So what kind of schedule are you playing this year? I know last year you played a predominantly Big Ten schedule. Are you interspersed among different leagues, different division, different conferences?
Yeah, it was just a Big Ten schedule all on the road last year. It was the only way we could play. Now we're back to the independent schedule, and we have 20 home games. It's the most we've ever had. We're really excited about that, and just to go Saturday and go through a game day routine at home and play in front of our fans and feel that again is going to really feel good. after what we went through last year. We have a really good, diverse schedule. Ironically, we don't play any Big Ten teams this year after playing only Big Ten teams last year, but it's a good schedule. Some really good highlights on there. Powerhouses like Minnesota State and Quinnipiac and BU and Denver. So good schedule, mixed very well, and again, more home games than we've ever had.
So, and we talked about conferences in the Big Ten last year, and you've talked to ECAC and Hockey East. You've kind of followed this progression at ASU where you went from a club team to the NCAA and you played an independent schedule. The next step is going to be try to grab onto a division. Is that, or a conference? Is that something you've looked at or you've applied to, or how does that process work to get yourself into a full-time conference?
It's one of those things. It's a hot topic that everybody wants to talk about and has wanted to talk about from day one. And all we heard from day one was, well, they're not in a league. They're not getting into a league. They're never going to win. You can't make the tournament as an independent. And it never computed with me. I didn't understand why people said that or think that. There are a lot of advantages to the independent schedule. You can pick your schedule, one. And two, in college hockey, it's tough to have to prepare for a brand new opponent every weekend. But that's something we're used to doing. We're used to pre-scouting somebody new every weekend and only playing them one series a season, where in a league you get to know teams so well. We experienced that last year. It was just repetition but everybody has to prepare for us brand new every weekend. And that's an advantage. That's a huge advantage for us. So we embrace that. All that said, the one thing you're missing not being in a league is that conference tournament, that second chance at making an NCAA tournament if your regular season doesn't go well. And obviously the single elimination mindset that it gets you into for the NCAA tournament. So we love the independent schedule. We've embraced it. We've been successful with it. We are going to get into a league. We're in conversations with 2 different leagues right now, and they're more advanced now than they've ever been. I think the biggest thing on our checklist was getting the arena done. That's done. We'll be in it next season, and that makes us very attractive to a number of leagues.
Greg, did you have to check your notes to remember what a home routine even feels like heading into a game?
I'll be honest. We've gone through it. We've gone through our home game protocol now 3 times, just because even like the freshmen last year, they never went through it. Yeah. So they're freshmen as it pertains to what we do at home and how we prepare and the team meals the night before and when we release our lineups and what the dress code is at home as opposed to on the road. All those things our guys didn't experience last year. So it's a routine that we're going to embrace, but we had to kind of retrain ourselves, even me, so it's an interesting thought, but for sure.
And I would think, as I look at the NHL comparison, you look at the Vegas Golden Knights when they first came into the league, visiting teams hadn't seen the building, didn't know how to play there. And let's be honest, it's Vegas.
The
right?
Vegas
You've
flu,
got the
they
weather,
called
you've
it.
got the distractions.
Yep.
And you get a kid from Houghton, Michigan, coming down here December, January going, hey, this is pretty nice.
Yeah.
Never seen the building. We get distractions. Does that help your home record? Has it shown up on the score sheet?
Well, in our last 30 games, we're 24-4-2.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of it has to do with all those things, the Tempe flu.
Yeah.
And yeah, kids come out and I guarantee you they're sitting out by the pool or doing whatever they do, and then it's game time and it's a different routine than going to wherever they're used to going in their conference. And then to travel from east to west, it's not easy. East to west is hard. I mean, it messes with your body clock. I mean, even when I go back east recruit and come back, it takes me 2 days to kind of readjust. A 3-hour time change right now. If we're playing UMass Lowell at 10 p.m. their time on Saturday night, that's an advantage for us any way you slice it. So there's a lot of things working in our way.
You talk about your recruiting, and so you look at your roster, you are literally all over North America. So for you and your coaching staff, what's that process? Is it year round? Is it like, are you putting on all these miles? Like, how do you go about putting a patchwork team like this together from everywhere?
Well, we're an attractive option for kids that I mean, we were recruiting really well. We had the 3rd ranked recruiting class this year, freshman class in the country. The arena, I think, helps with that a lot because they knew they were going to play in it. But we just want the right kid that we don't care where they're from. We knew we had to cast a wide net to build this thing and be competitive right away. And We did build it with a lot of Western Canadians to start. We were really focused on Western Canada, and now we're having a lot of success in Chicago and Detroit. And once the gospel spreads and kids talk to other kids and you treat your players the right way, they're your best recruiters, and we're very proud again of the fact that we were a program that not one senior wanted to go play somewhere else. They wanted to come back, and we had graduate transfers. The captain from Michigan, who's a Boston draft pick, wanted to come here, and he's here now. Colin Tyson was offered to be the captain and go back for a fifth year at Notre Dame, and he's like, nope, going to ASU. So those things, when you treat your guys the right way, and it becomes kind of a thing amongst players where they know they're going to come here and get a great experience. It takes a life of its own, and recruiting is just going to get better every year for us.
We talked a little bit about this. We had that great story of you and Alex Hicks driving through a blizzard. I think it was Alex driving. Actually,
he was driving. Unfortunately, he was driving. Yeah.
Yes, but you must have a lot of stories like that. How has recruiting changed over the years from where you're trying to sell something brand new that people really don't know anything about to now you have some sort of track record?
Yeah, it's way different. And Mike and I were just at the USHL Fall Classic in Pittsburgh last week. We were there Wednesday through Sunday, and going to those events where every school was at the very beginning, you kind of feel like you're at the back of the line, and you're new and you're building something. And ASU for 3 or 4 years was almost an urban legend to kids. Like, that's really cool that they have a team, but are they going to be good? What kind of commitment are they going to make to the sport? Does the coaching staff know what they're doing? Can I go there and win? All those questions have been answered, and you can feel now when you go to an event like that, the momentum and the shift, and we're a very highly sought after place for kids to come play now, and it's showing.
Yeah, let's talk about that, because I know you're really excited about this class that's coming in. Everybody knows Josh Doan's coming. We can talk about that a little bit, but there are other pieces to that recruiting class as well, and you've talked about just how the talent level has taken a major uptick.
Yeah, I mean, it's top to bottom, all 5 of these kids can help us right away, and they will. Donor is, his hockey IQ is off the charts. He's for fans that are excited to see him play, he doesn't play like his dad. He's not a bull in a china shop and that kind of guy. Like, Shane was just physically just so good and just powerful and kind of willed his way to success, where Josh is a kid that grew up. He was a late bloomer physically, was always undersized, always weak. So he had to develop a brain for the game, and he's done that. And now his body's catching up. He still has a ways to go, but he's a playmaker. He just plays with his eyes up and sees the ice and makes plays and is really good in tight areas. And he's going to contribute right away, and we're going to throw him right into the fire to see that he does. And another freshman we're really excited about up front is a kid, Jack Jensen. He's from Eden Prairie, Minnesota. He was originally committed to Minnesota back when Don Lucia was the coach, and just decided to make a change and didn't fit in with their style. He's a big, strong power forward, and we think he's going to play in the NHL. Like, he's really good. He's big. He's fast. He's got just a skill set on him that you don't see with kids his size. He was at 19 points in 15 games last year in Omaha in the USHL. Then he got a blood clot in his leg and sat out the rest of the year. And we're thrilled he's here, and we expect big things out of him, and he's going to be good for us right away. And then Jackson Niedermeyer, Scott's son, skates like a Niedermeyer, but he's big and heavy and tough. But he's coming off of surgery in the off season, so he's kind of getting his way, finding his way back into shape. But he's close, and I think he's going to have an impact before the year's up. And then Ty Murchison's a Philadelphia draft pick. He's going to play right away. Came from the NTDP. He's our 4th program player that played for the NTDP in our program, and Ty will make an impact for us right away. He's a big, strong, kind of mean D. I think that has more to offer than what he was able to show at the NTDP. They're just so deep and so rich in talent that once you get kind of slotted as that 5'6", this is what you are to them, right? And in their defense, they just have so much talent and skill in waves that he was never really given an opportunity to show what he could do. He's a skilled kid. He played roller hockey growing up and has a skill set that we're excited for him to show. And then Ethan Schmaggy's a D that is a really strong kind of 200-foot, stay-at-home guy, puck mover, was committed to Michigan. and he'll be in the lineup Saturday too.
Do you find you're just getting into, the way they say it in recruiting? Do you find that you're getting into living rooms that you didn't get into earlier in the process?
There's no doubt.
Yeah.
There's no doubt. We're in on kids right now, and obviously we can't talk specific
Yeah.
about. We're in on kids that we're every kid we're now getting, we're battling it out with, perennial top 5 blue blood programs. Yeah.
One more from me. I'll let you guys take over. But when you see the direction that recruiting is going and you're getting better and better players, how did you balance, wanting to get all these graduate students in, keep some guys, take others in? How do you balance that with maybe giving an opportunity to a recruit?
Yeah, I mean, it's that's what I think in today's landscape. You have to add retention to a part of your recruiting plan, because kids can, if they're not happy, they can just leave now and go play anywhere they want.
Yeah.
So it's not only about continuing to go and evaluate talent and bring in young talent that you can develop, but you have to figure out a way to retain your own players. And the way I look at it is we're going to take advantage of the landscape. We're an attractive program and climate and campus to come play for. So we're going to take care of our own and make sure that nobody wants to leave us, which we've done, and treat everybody so well that while they're here, that kids at other programs that aren't happy, if they're a good fit, once we find out, they're going to want to come here because they know the way we do things. So, talent evaluation and bringing in new freshmen and keeping class balance and all that stuff is important. But the wrinkle that coaches, I think, really have to focus on now is player retention.
Did you worry at all about blocking the path of some recruits by having so many graduate students, or was loyalty more important to you?
No, it was for me. I think this past year, bringing in 5 transfers, the strategy behind it was we have those 4 kids coming back, and they made the decision to come back so they could win in their last year and didn't go anywhere else and could have. And I owed it to them to beef up our roster and get as much talent and as much experience on it as I could. And that was my promise to them. Hey, you guys come back. We're going to go for it. We're going to go for it. We're going to bring in kids and fix what deficiencies we thought we had last year. And that was the nice thing about last year is we found out where we were deficient, playing such a tough road schedule and no days off. And we think we addressed those. The back end was the biggest deficiency we had. We brought in 4 new D, and I think they're going to get it done.
With that one-time transfer, and I'm sorry, I didn't know that's ongoing. That's a new rule and
permanent.
So kids, they're not happy wherever they played this year. They could go one time,
put themselves into a portal, and essentially it's a waiver wire. And as soon as they're in that portal, you can call
start
and
recruiting
free game. Yeah.
So does that expand your recruiting role now? I mean, it's almost like having pro scouts at the NHL level looking at other programs going, gosh, this kid's only playing once every 2 weeks. Or
yes and no. I mean, obviously you can't meddle, you can't tamper or anything like that. But once a kid's in, I mean, you got to know the landscape. And,
right.
And if a kid goes in the portal that is attractive, I mean, teams are all over it, right? So he gets called nonstop, and but it's changed the landscape of how teams are going to build their rosters. There's no doubt. I mean, we looking at it ahead. I mean, we have a depth chart, 4 years out. And we built room in every year for portal kids, because we may need a big, heavy power forward that's going to go on our third line. You just never know, So, and it doesn't matter what anybody says. If you can go get a kid that's played 4 years of college hockey, especially for a really successful program and has had a role with that they're going to be better than any freshman.
Yeah.
It's just how it works.
How do coaches feel about it, though? Do they like the fact that this is the way the landscape
some
is
love
now?
it, some don't.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously we like it because we're benefiting from it.
Yeah.
Is it good for small programs? No, it's not. And we do things the right way, and hopefully programs won't and don't tamper. But I know that there's smaller programs coaches that are fearful that they're going to bring in maybe an under the radar kid that's going to light it up for them and be kind of treated like a minor league, and then the kid's going to say, all right, I'm going to this small school out east. I'm going to put myself in the portal and hope a blue blood gives me a call, and they likely will. So it's a slippery slope, it really is.
Yeah, it's the haves and the have-nots again.
Yeah.
And then you've seen that throughout college hockey for decades.
Yep.
It's the smaller schools have a difficult time recruiting, and now we talked about Houghton, Michigan. If you get a kid to go to Houghton, Michigan, it's a tough place to recruit to, but you get him to play, and now he has a great year and he's gone. Boy, that's tough.
Yeah,
that's
so
tough.
it's all. That's why I mean, as a coach, you have to have a really you got to be really focused on player retention. Like, so no matter where you're at, you got to take care of the guys that are there, and build relationships with them where they don't think about leaving. And I know it's easier said than done, but it's certainly our focus. We don't want to lose a guy to North Dakota. We don't want to lose a guy to Michigan. And we could have. Like, those 4 kids, Johnny Walker could have gone anywhere he wanted.
Yeah.
I mean, he's the leading goal scorer in college hockey. And he didn't think twice about it.
With him in particular, he's got such a great story anyway, local kid. As he said, I can't even remember when I came here anymore. Maybe it was like 9-10 years ago. But how nice is it to have Johnny Walker with the program for one more season?
I mean, he's the face of our program,
Yeah.
and he's just a lovable kid. And he had a rough go last year, hurt in the first game, and then it just really decimated his season. He was never the same. Johnny he played in those last 13 games, and he was maybe 60%. He was still a point per game in the Big Ten on the road at 60%, out of shape. Like, the kid can score.
Yeah.
So we're excited for him to get back out there healthy, and he's ready to get after it.
All those kids had injuries. I mean, those 4 kids that we're talking about, they all dealt with something last year.
They did. It was there. They couldn't. We couldn't stay healthy, and then between that and COVID protocols and contact tracing and mono, and
that's right.
It was a crazy year.
Yeah.
But I think that's another platform that this hopefully brings to Coyote fans that are true hockey fans. Like, okay, Coyotes are great. They don't play for another month. They may have a difficult season ahead for them. This is like just down the road, and you can go see one really good hockey, a team that has a chance to win every night. You get players that are going to be prospects in pro hockey down the road, and get that college hockey atmosphere, which is much. NHL's great. I mean, we're not diminishing that, but college hockey atmosphere is just different than the NHL.
You might see Shane Doan hiding somewhere in the stands.
Yeah,
too,
I would imagine he'll be there.
Watching Coyotes prospects.
Scott Niedermeyer.
We've had some great NHLers in that building over the last few years, but watching their sons play. But you're right. You're right, Steve. I mean, we're a great ticket, and a fun place to watch. Oceanside's not the Taj Mahal,
Bring a
but
coat.
you're right on top of the ice,
Bring
and
5 coats.
you can really
You hear it. You're part of it.
experience how fast the game is and how good these kids are and how passionate they are, and so it's fun, and then in the college hockey effect that this new arena is going to have on the community and our campus is going to be amazing. We'll pack it. I mean, we expect to get 5,000 a night.
I honestly believe that's possible. So much more to dive into, but before we do, I just want to remind everybody that our show today is brought to you by DraftKings Sportsbook, the official sports betting partner of the NFL. Sports betting is live in Arizona. If you sign up for the DraftKings Sportsbook app using promo code PHNX, you will get a can't miss offer. You'll receive $150 in free bets instantly when you bet just $1 on any football games, college or NFL, this week, no matter what. And also, there's a promotion going on right now where if you do a same game parlay and it doesn't hit, DraftKings will credit you back up to $25 if your bet loses. So be sure to take advantage of all the great offers that DraftKings has right now. You don't want to miss it. Reminder, that's the promo code PHNX when you sign up, and it's super easy to deposit and withdraw your money at your convenience as well. That's 21 and over, Arizona only. Gambling problem, call 1-800-NEXT-STEP. New customers only, minimum $5 deposit and $1 wager required. Eligibility restrictions apply. See DraftKings.com/sportsbook for details. Whew.
Yeah, mouthful. We gotta get back to the arena. I know we talk about it all the time, but I keep driving past it. I'm just covering the team. I can't imagine what it feels like for you as the coach, the guy who's built this thing from ground zero, just to see that taking shape and know what it means for the future of this program.
It's always just been a pipe dream. It was one of those things that we knew from day one when we elevated to Division I status that a solution had to present itself at some point. We couldn't sustain a program out of Oceanside forever.
Yeah.
And it's taken way longer than we expected. It's not easy to get done in this town. But we're there, and it's always just been this vision that we've all had. And me personally, you just had to keep plugging away, hoping that somehow, some way we were going to get it done. And we did. We have great people at ASU that found a way, and being there yesterday and the topping off ceremony, we couldn't do a groundbreaking ceremony. because of COVID. So they put the last steel beam in. We called it a topping off ceremony. It was really cool. I mean, you're in the arena, on what's going to be center ice. All the precast is in, so you can see the seating. The roof's pretty much done. The arena is ready to be shelled. I mean, it's going to be a building within weeks, and then they build out the inside. But you can walk in now and see the taped off where the locker room is, where the lounge is, where the dry area is, where the hot and cold tub is, where your office is going to be, and it's surreal. I mean, it really is going to be going from the outhouse to the penthouse.
I was lucky enough to do that virtual tour with you of the arena way back whenever it was in the heat of the summer, and you led me through that, obviously, because I had no idea what I was doing with the hood on. But I know you were involved in this in every step of it. I know you had a lot of details that you wanted to see. Can you walk us through some of that and just how exciting and cool it was to be a part of designing it?
Yeah, and it was awesome. I mean, we want to make it a really unique experience for every sports fan in Phoenix. And like I said, bring a really an attraction that this market's never had, a real college hockey venue. And that's what it's going to be. It's 5,000 seats. It's intimate. Entire upper level is obviously luxury boxes, and there's a party deck where you can do standing room only up top. We actually have, and the renderings are going to come out soon, changed the lower two corners, and not in the student section, but on the opposite side of the ice, glass level bunker suites. So it's going to be unique. You don't see a lot of that in hockey at all. You're starting to see it in football stadiums and basketball arenas, but literal glass level bunker suites in the corners that are going to seat 12 people. So, you're going to watch a game on TV and be like, wow, I've never seen that before, and so, then the club area is going to be amazing. It's the center three sections, and then it's going to be a VIP concourse area up above the club with upgraded food and beverage options and stuff like that. So there's going to be a lot of revenue generating opportunity in the venue, and then from a facility standpoint, hockey side, it's going to be second to none.
Yeah, the locker room. By the way, they put the pitchchfork logo on the ceiling rather than on the floor.
Don't step on it.
Like NHL teams go.
Somewhere.
Players lose their minds when you step on the logo.
Don't have to worry about it now. It's such a pain
So
in the
thank
butt.
you for that. But what was important when you were designing the team spaces? What was important to you?
Just to get the input of the people that are going to work in it every day, and I mean, no offense to architects, but they don't work in it. They don't live in the facility, and so the people that designed ours were great and open-minded, and we went back and forth. Our equipment guy, our trainer, our strength and conditioning coach, myself. So we had all the input on how this flowed when the players walked in, how it made sense when they walked in, where the dry area was in relation to the room, where the laundry goes to make it easier on our equipment guys, stuff like that. It's just going to flow really well. Has everything and then some that we're going to need. And like I said, it's literally going to be an outhouse to penthouse scenario.
Go ahead.
No, I'm just going to, we talked about how this is really truthfully a Greg Power, his vision.
Yeah.
And when you talk about this program, like it's all you, like I don't want to overstate it, but no, seriously, like how does this ASU hockey go from an ACHA club team where you were a goalie for 4 years? How does it go from that to where it is today? And your path, tell us what your path is going from, like, how do you go from an ACHA goalie to now you're a head coach in the NCAA? Like, how does that path happen?
It's a unique one and unconventional, to say the least. I never thought I'd be a coach for a living. I never thought I would be one. I never wanted to be one. Grew up playing my whole life, obviously, and went to ASU and had a good club career, and then got out of hockey completely and got into the corporate world and got pulled back in as a volunteer assistant for 2 years. And then got roped into being the head coach, having no clue what to do, and ended up having a lot of success. I think our record in my 5 years at the club level was 169-23. And so we won a lot of games. We won a national championship. We beat Penn State's Division I team. We went to 3 straight Final Fours. So we had so much success. It impressed the right people. $32 million presented itself to elevate the Division I status. And I was very fortunate that we had an athletic director that understood passion trumps logic, right? And the logical thing to do, and what most ADs would have done, was say, hey, thank you. Here's your lifetime season tickets. See ya. but he understood that we needed somebody through our infant stages to truly be in it for the right reasons and playing out of Oceanside, and somebody that cared about the pitchfork and had passion for the program. And I was lucky that Ray saw that and didn't entertain hiring a guy with NHL background, or because a high level guy would have come in and been really frustrated with a lot of the obstacles that we faced the first 4 to 5 years. And so he gave me a chance, and that's all I can ask for. And I told him, I said, don't hire me if you think I'm the right guy. Hire me if you think I'm the only guy. And it took him a couple weeks, and here we are.
So you've seen this program grow.
Yep.
And you've seen it from club hockey to where it is in the NCAA. Do you envision a time when another Pac-12 or a Western school, like you're playing USC or UCLA or Leah's alma mater, U of A down the street? I mean, I'm just envisioning that rivalry picking up again what you had in club at the NCAA level. Do you see these programs having that desire, or any of these programs coming forward to create a rivalry?
I think there's interest. There's interest and intrigue. And I think what it's going to take, the domino I have always said that it's going to take, is us getting into that new building, and we project to be a major revenue sport, and put a lot to our bottom line from an athletic department standpoint. We're going to make money, and there's not a lot of college sports that actually make money. So when a Stanford or USC or UCLA or Washington or Colorado, whatever, sees, wait a minute, like ASU's making X millions of dollars a year in college hockey, why can't we do it? And I think that's what it's going to take. It's when they know it's not just going to be a cost center, and that you're going to, college hockey is going to make them money. I think it'll grow.
Great.
And we're going to be able to prove that in a year.
How did you teach yourself how to coach?
That's a good question. You have a lot of good. I grew up playing for an unbelievable guy. I played on a great team growing up in Indianapolis, and we were incredible. 7 kids played Division I. A guy by the name of Hugh Harris played in the WHA for the Racers, played in the NHL for the Buffalo Sabres. Still lives there. He's out here in the winter and comes to games. But had just surrounded myself with really good hockey people growing up, and just little stuff like Cliff Fletcher lives here locally in the off season, and I talk to Cliff, guys like that all the time. Barry Smith, just have to be open to learning and listening and look, I've learned a lot over the course of even the Division I era. I'm a way better coach today than I was 7 years ago, and plan on being even better 7 years from now. So you just, there's so much you can do to learn, and the best coaches are the best thieves. That's what I've learned most.
Speaking of people you have around you, good hockey people, you've got some on your staff. I know Alex Hicks. He's around the Coyotes. I've seen him around that arena a bit. I've got to know Mike Fields as well, and Eddie Lack is a personality.
Yeah.
Let me just start by asking, how did you decide to assemble the staff, and what was important to you?
I think the thing that's different about college athletics, the head coach truly is a CEO. He's not just a coach, right?
Yeah.
So there's so much more to my job than just X's and O's. So knowing that, and knowing that I didn't have a pro background, and knowing that you want to bring kids in that want to go to the NHL, I had to go get somebody that's been there. And Alex's story is incredible. He played Division III hockey at Wisconsin Eau Claire. He's maybe the best Division III player of all time. You could argue that. And so he played Division III hockey and found a way to the NHL. He knows what it takes. He's been there. Nothing was given to him. So when you can sit him down in front of a parent or a player and tell his story, and let him tell his story of this is what it takes, and this is how I got there, and this is how I'm going to help you get there, it's really powerful. So and then Mike on the player development side or player evaluation side was as good as it gets, and was the director of scouting in Dubuque in the USHL. So he had his thumbs on everybody and knows the talent pool better than anybody. And as the CEO, you just have to hire people around you that are better at something than you.
Yeah.
It's like a CEO of a Fortune 500 company doesn't hire a CFO that can't manage the company's finance better than him. You know what I mean? He's got to hire somebody that knows more about it than him.
Yeah.
And it's okay to learn from people around you and admit that maybe Alex Hicks knows how to run a power play better than me. Play in the NHL, right? I was a goalie. So it's okay to admit that, you know, and you got to let people do their jobs. You It's just managing people, putting them in positions in your organization to make your organization successful.
Speaking of free spirits, I know he's a volunteer coach, but how did you bring Eddie Lack aboard? Maybe it helped that you were a goalie. I don't know. You guys could communicate.
I don't go near the goalies. And Eddie's awesome. Eddie retired here and hooked up with our equipment guy, John Loeffner, and he skated at Oceanside when he was still grinding out the end of his career, and then he had his hip issue and retired and decided to call Arizona home. And then he reached out and said, hey, I want to stay in the game. And he knew that goalie coaches at our level generally are volunteers, and he didn't need a paycheck. And so we got him through, and he's never looked back. He's committed. He's there every morning working with the guys. They love him. He communicates incredibly well with our goalies, and they love working with him, and he's just awesome. So if we could just get Eddie to stop cheating at golf, we'd be all set.
That's where I was going. That's my segue. You've said all these nice things about these guys. Now give us the dirt on these guys.
Well, there's not too much dirt. They're all unbelievable guys and have had a huge hand in growing our program and building it with me. But they're great, and it's like I tell anybody that asks, like, now you get coaches, hey, how'd you build your staff? What's important to you when building your staff? Those types of things. And the simple answer is I'll never hire anybody I don't want to have a beer with. And because we spend too much time together not to enjoy our time together. So I don't want it to ever make it feel like they work for me, they work with me. And I know that's cliche, but they genuinely feel that way. We all have a vested interest in our program, and we all love having beers together.
One of the things that amazes me is your roots here with the club team as a player, that now that you're an NCAA program, there still is a presence for that club hockey on campus. It didn't go away. How is your involvement with that, or how are they still involved with the campus? That's impressive to me that they're able to have these kids that still want to play. There's a lot of kids that want to play hockey that still get the opportunity to play for ASU, even though they're not playing for the NCAA team.
Yeah, I mean, we talked a little bit about it before we went on air. Like, the ACHA is a good level of hockey, and it's actually the largest body of hockey that falls under the USA Hockey umbrella. It's over 300 ACHA programs. So in NCAA, there's 61 programs. That's it. So there's not enough stalls for how many good players there are. There's no Division II, and there's limited Division III, where in basketball you have 300 plus Division I programs, Division II and Division III. Football, 111 Division I programs, Division II, Division III. Hockey, 61. 0 Division II, only Division III. So many good players are left with nowhere to play. There's not enough stalls. And so the ACHA is a great option for kids that want to get that big school experience and go to a major school, get a degree from a major school, and continue to play the game they love while they're getting that degree. And ASU has always had a strong program. My last year running the club program, we had 180 kids try out for our Division I team.
How do you even manage that?
We had a Division II team, a Division III team, a prospect team. Now there's still 3 men's club teams, a 1, 2, and 3, and there's a women's team. So there's 4 club teams on campus in addition to our NCAA team. And Division I institutions in the country, nobody has more hockey teams on its campus than ASU.
That's insane to me.
That's awesome.
Is that insane,
love
though?
that
Like,
stat.
really, you talk about these big hockey cities and states, and ASU has the largest participation. That's unreal. Now, with the new building, do all of those people get to participate in the building? Or
we want them to come with us. Absolutely. We want them to come with us. And I mean, I think, those kids to be able to play in an on-campus facility, they're excited about it. And it's important to me. You can't forget where you came from, and anything we can do to help them continue to grow and be competitive, we're going to do.
Having said that, did you ever, in spite of all the steps that you've tried to take along the way, did you ever allow yourself to dream this big?
Honestly, no. I mean, there was always this pipe dream of one day ASU is going to have an NCAA program, and when they do, it's going to be a powerhouse. Did I ever think I would be the head coach? Absolutely not. No. And people ask, what was the blueprint? The blueprint was just focus on what's in front of you. And so when I decided, okay, I'm going to take this crazy idea of being a head coach at the ACHA level on, it was just become the best ACHA program in the country. And we did. If you played us, essentially you lost. And it's led to this. And here we are.
2 more things for you. We'll let you go. you did have a little bit of a blueprint when you could look at programs like Penn State, but in many ways, there was no blueprint for what you were doing down here, was there?
No, there wasn't. It was just focus on what's in front of you and be the best at what you can control, and it sounds cliche, but that's how we've gotten to where we're at. And again, there's a lot of luck along the way, a lot of things that fell our way, and having the right AD in place at the right time that looked at adding sports as a solution, where so many ADs are looking at getting rid of sports as their solution. Ray's added hockey, men's tennis, women's lacrosse, women's triathlon. He's added 4 sports in his tenure. And in a time where everybody else is going, we got to cut this. So there's been a lot of things that have just worked our way. And generally when you do things the right way and you treat people the right way, this is what happens.
All right, last question for you with the season starting on Saturday. Expectations. What are you looking for your team?
They're higher than ever. We expect to win. We expect to win every night we take the ice. And we expect to be back in the NCAA tournament and get further than we've ever been. And I'm not ashamed to say that, and the best way to go about it is exactly how we've achieved this success, is just one at a time. As an independent, you have to just collect wins, and get it to the point where you can position yourself as a high seed and see where it goes. But we truly believe that we have a team that can do it, and the experience and the depth and the size, and we're back to our identity of being a strong, heavy, old, pain in the ass team to play against, and that's what you're going to see on Saturday.
Greg, can't thank you enough for doing this today. I hope we get to do this again.
Absolutely. Anytime. Thanks for having me, guys.
Before we wrap up, 2 things. One, we have a quick question in the chat. I just want to make sure we answer. Jacob, if you can, throw it up there.
Somebody wants to know if you guys radio stream any of the games.
I don't know. You know what? I don't think they do radio stream it. But the home games are all streamed for free on the Pac-12 channel. So the Pac-12, you can video stream them for free.
That's awesome.
Or you can turn the video off and just listen.
There you go.
Essentially create radio.
Yeah.
And also someone on Twitter said, can Coach Powers put Steve and Craig through conditioning drills and film that? So
No,
Yeah,
I'm
that's
happy
not
to do
happening.
that.
this is it right here.
That's
Yeah.
not I couldn't even do the virtual shooting pucks.
No.
You expect me to get on the ice? I mean,
That
well,
would be
maybe that
pretty.
might be some content that we film and we can
Yeah.
put it behind the
Oh,
paywall on
actually. I want to see
gophnx.com.
Craig Morgan and Pat. I really
Yeah.
do.
And also,
I might
I do
pay
too.
we
a
didn't
fee
even
for that.
acknowledge this, that all 3 of you are former goalies,
know.
and
I
I
I'm
feel
not
like
sure if
I'm
the-
subject to compensation for
yeah,
that.
yeah.
I don't know if the union allows that, the goalie union. 3 goalies in the room at the same
No,
time.
it doesn't.
That's a lot of
Yeah.
brain power.
And
Oh,
you should
man.
do
Yeah,
some
that's-
psychiatric.
I know,
yeah,
I
that
know.
too.
Yeah.
Well, if we do film that, it will be on gophnx.com, which of course you can access all the great stories, all the great content on gophnx.com. If you sign up for a membership, an annual membership gets you a free shirt and access to everything, as well as the members only Discord. If you want to do month to month, your first month, you can try it out for 50 cents. There's a ton of great shirts in the PHNX locker. You don't have to be a member to buy the shirts either. And just be sure you're following us along on Twitter at PHNX_Coyotes, and then everywhere else at PHNX_sports, Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, YouTube. Make sure you're subscribed on YouTube, hit that bell, get notifications. What am I forgetting?
We got the Sun Devil channel too, so
Yes, and we.
That shirt dropped today.
Oh yes,
Oh,
the
did
Sun
it?
Devil
Oh, beautiful.
shirt
It's
did drop
fire,
today,
yeah.
and so
Nice.
did a U of A shirt. I have to,
Yeah, you're all a
throw
lot
it
of
on
you
in.
had to throw that in there,
yeah,
didn't you?
Yeah.
Fair enough.
But yeah, so we, Craig does a lot of ASU hockey coverage, but if you want more ASU coverage, we have a whole beat for that as well. They do a show themselves 5 days a week, so don't miss that. A lot of great stuff going on here. Greg, thanks so much. We could have had you for
I know.
2 more hours. I hope you'll come back and join us again. And
Appreciate you having
good
us
luck.
on.
Good luck this weekend in your
you.
opening weekend. Thanks
Thank
so
you, guys.
much. and
Appreciate it.
Thanks so much for tuning in.